Small breath. So like a puff, puff. Very, very short. Puff, puff. And what you're going to do is seal over their mouth and nose, because sometimes their mouth and nose might be so small it'll be awkward for you to pinch the nose and seal the mouth. So put your mouth over their mouth, puff, and give another puff. Okay, now for these little guys, you may want to check if they have a pulse, because if they do have a pulse, it would be beneficial to start just giving breaths alone, and that hopefully will make them revive. Okay, so how we give them a pulse check is with 2 fingers. We're touching here. On us, it's up here underneath this bone. It's called the brachial pulse. Okay, so underneath the bone here, on your arm, press inward, but it might be hard to find on us. So practice finding that on your babies. Not just because we have a lot of bone and muscle, and like for me, I really like to poke in there. Okay, but on them, it's really easy to find.
Oh, that's where they take the temperature.
Yeah, the temperature, but right now you're feeling for the pulse. So really squeeze in there. Don't get your thumb involved, because
it's in your, basically in your armpits.
Yeah,
right?
it's more out of there.
Okay.
For adults.
Yeah.
And for
But
babies.
for kids,
So on these guys, you imagine here.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
okay.
Yeah, you feel. Yeah, because when you really got to
Push
push in
hard.
there to feel it.
Okay.
On these guys, a little bit of pressure. Don't get your thumb involved. Your thumb can you'll feel your own pulse in your thumb. So 2 fingers here, feeling, and you do this for 5 to 10 seconds also. So 1 1,000s, 2 1,000s, 3 1,000s, 4 1,000s, 5 1,000s.
And this was, sorry, if we didn't need to do the pumping?
This is for if we don't have to do the pumping. Then we do something else.
So when do we check the pulse? Before we pump?
Before we pump.
But but after we check the breath?
After we give the breath. Yeah, so I'll write it down. Hopefully there's a pen here. I'll write it down and do it afterwards. Okay, so this is not in the booklet, so you may want to add it on somewhere. Okay, so I do the pulse check, and they do not have a pulse. So I'm going to start doing compressions. On them, it's not your heel of your palm, it's 3 of your fingers. So your top finger gets you in position on the nipple line here. The 2 fingers underneath that finger do the pressing. Okay, so these line up here, put your finger down here. So on these guys, you do have to open up the shirt, and you start pressing down as hard as you can. Now, I don't have the soft dolls, but you're going down about 1/3 to half of their chest depth. Same as with children. It's really extreme.
Can we have a baby just to see?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you show us again where to, like how to know where to pump.
So you take 3 fingers, so you open up the shirt, 3 fingers, and your top finger is here in the nipple line. These 2 fingers come right in the midline of the body here. Make sure it's in the center, because you don't want to be on the ribs. And that's where you are. And with those 2 fingers straight down, that's your pressing.
So on the nipple line, meaning under the nipple?
Yeah, on the nipple, no, right on top. So put the
on
top
the
finger,
nipple. Okay.
top finger goes on the nipple line,
Okay.
that gets in position. Your other 2 fingers are right here in the middle here. And those 2 fingers are the ones that do the pressing.
It seems like it's a little further than like.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, we
That's
somehow
okay.
missed that it was a Santa Claus parade.
It seems like if you put your index finger on their nipples, then it's a little bit of a distance to get to their chest. Like
Yeah,
it's not
those-
right next door.
Yeah, those dolls are awful.
Oh, but you're saying in real life,
Yeah.
it would be right next
Yeah.
door.
Wait till we start doing the choking procedure on those dolls. They're gonna fly off.
Okay.
So we'll be parallel, it'll be a line in.
It'll be a line. Yeah. Oh, please, can you pass them the attendance list?
Oh. And it is your pet.
So, okay. So imagine in real life, all you're doing is put your finger here on the midline of the chest, 2 fingers down here, and then you're pressing straight down and coming up.
Okay.
Okay, and we do it for the same 30 times, hard and fast. So it's like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. And then puff, puff. Very gentle puffs.
And what did you say about covering their nose? Like how do you
Nose
do
and
that?
mouth with your own mouth. So you just
Your whole
yeah,
just
your
cover the
whole
whole thing.
mouth is all over. Is on their nose and mouth.
And just okay, got it.
And no tipping, right? Or not as extended tipping?
Not as extended, just gently lift their chin up.
Okay.
Very moderate. Any questions? Okay, so let's start from the beginning where you walk in this room, you find an infant lying there. What's the first thing you do?
Check for the risks.
Good, check for wrist. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's in the area. What next?
Check for wrist, what's that? Oh, wrist.
Oh, wrist.
hazards.
Check for
I
wrist.
heard wrist.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Check.
You listen for breathing.
Wait.
Oh, well, you have to lift the chin up.
Wait. Try and wake them up. Good.
Oh,
Try and wake them up. They do not wake up, so then you will.
call them.
Good. Call 911. Yeah, you'll get it.
Or tell someone. Right? You call or tell
Yes,
someone.
you go call 911. Yes. Make sure they come back to you if you send somebody. You'll have to go by yourself or send someone else. Now your next step is to listen to see if they're breathing. So 1 1,000s, 2 1,000s, 3 1,000s, 4 1,000s, 5 1,000s. They're not breathing, so give a very gentle puff.
Mine's breathing.
Puff. Okay. Your next step is to find their brachial pulse, and you count for 5 to 10 seconds. So 1 1,000s, 2 1,000s.
Either arm.
Either arm, doesn't matter which one. 1 1,000s, 2 1,000s, 3 1,000s, 4 1,000s, 5 1,000s. They do not have a pulse, so this is when you're doing the compressions. So get yep.
So that puff step, that's with your
That's a
mouth
breathing.
covering
Their mouth and nose. Yeah, we'll go over it just shortly on the right hand.
And just use the 2 fingers.
Yeah. 30. And puff. Puff, and we continue the process until they throw up, help arrives, or, that's the better way to do it. Okay, so the steps are, step 1 is to do an area check. So just look around for any hazards. Step 2 is try to awake the victim or check responsiveness. Check 3 is if they do not awake, you're calling an ambulance, call 911. And then we get into A, which stands for open up the airway. B is breath check. And you do that for 5 seconds. Not breathing, you give the 2 breaths. Then kind of circulation. If they do not have a pulse, you're giving 30 compressions. So then we'll do something else about the circulation if they do have a pulse. We'll get into that afterwards. So I'll show you from the beginning. I come in this room, I see someone lying there. Now the first part isn't that important because most likely you know when there's something wrong with your child. They're going to be blue. They're obviously going to be limp looking, very pale. Specifically, they can be blue around the lips. Their eyelids are blue. Fingertips can be blue. So you'll know when there's something wrong with them, and that's when you call 911 right away. If you hear any weird, unusual wheezing that's making them turn pale or blue, that's a 911 call. So you'll know. The important steps are that you make sure that you check that they're not breathing, which is 1 1,000s, 2 1,000s, 3 1,000s, 4 1,000s, 5 1,000s. If they are not breathing, seal over their mouth and nose and give a very gentle breath. So it's puff, puff. And the important thing is to make sure that they have a pulse. Now, if you're not certain that they do have a pulse, if you're not certain, do the compressions. Okay, if you really feel that there's a pulse, then you do the other thing, which is rescue breathing. Okay, so you feel if they have a pulse, 1 1,000s, 2 1,000s, 3 1,000s, and they do not have a pulse, so then you're doing your 30 compressions, which is 1 finger is on the nipple line. Your other 2 fingers come underneath that finger, okay, and you're pressing right down on the chest 30 times. 7, 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30, and then you're doing a puff, puff. And and we never check vitals again unless they throw up, and then that